Welcome back to the Joe Miller Show, KLEN Hot Talk, 1080 AM, 95.1 FM. We have Josh Siegel on the line. He's a news editor for the Daily Signal. He's currently in Washington, D.C., standing outside of the conference room in which the Freedom Caucus is meeting. Freedom Caucus, the 40 members or so of the House, kind of the Tea Party successor group that took a stand against Boehner, shot down McCarthy as the successor. Currently now, they apparently just interviewed Paul Ryan, and now they're discussing whether or not to offer support for him. Josh Siegel, tell us a little bit about what's going on, what the likelihood is that the caucus is actually going to go forward with supporting Ryan for Speaker.
Yeah, so like you just said, the core board members, 4 guys, just met with Paul Ryan about a half hour ago. It was very brief. Paul Ryan, no one said anything on the way out, and Paul Ryan has not officially declared into the race. But, and the Freedom Caucus is now meeting together. We would think to be talking about what they just learned from Paul Ryan. But, I think everyone I've talked to in the Freedom Caucus has said that Paul Ryan is a guy that they respect as a person and as a politician, and who they all, seem to have relationships with, in that, but they would still hold him to, if they were to support him, it would have to be under conditions that they've kind of laid out, like they did with Daniel Webster, who's the guy who they've officially endorsed, a little-known congressman from Florida who's still in the race. But basically they're calling for complete reform of the process of how the House does business, taking away more power from the Speaker, giving it to the rank-and-file members, changing the steering committee, which is the committee that delivers, committee chairmanships, making sure that more rank-and-file members have say in that, so the chairs of committees are not all stacked with leadership allies. So it's kind of this inside the ballpark stuff that people, it would seem irrelevant. And like they've said, they're not after the most conservative guy necessarily, but someone who will kind of enact these reforms. And they believe if they have more power, then they can get through conservative policies. So that's kind of the thinking behind it.
So the real question is whether or not somebody like Paul Ryan could be trusted. I mean, you've got issues, of course, across the Senate where you've got Ted Cruz calling McConnell a liar. And, of course, there are many examples of leadership going back on their word. Is Paul Ryan the kind of guy that if he makes a commitment you think is going to follow through?
Yeah, no, I think as far as trusting him, like I said, they don't question his integrity. And I think it's a matter of, look, if the entire conference is saying we're for Paul Ryan, outside of the Freedom Caucus right now, which is what the consensus right now is, Paul Ryan or nothing, really. So, if that were to happen, a lot of these Freedom Caucus guys are saying, well, who can really get to 18, which is a number of votes required to be elected, and they don't have one of their own who can get to that level, even remotely. So they have to kind of take the best of what they can get. And right now they're using their leverage as a voting block, which they can do. Like, they can block a speaker, but they can't elect a speaker on their own. So basically, if Paul Ryan's the guy who it turns out can only get the votes, and he makes enough commitments to satisfy people, they're going to support him. I think that's what we'll see. But they're actually trickling out now.
Absolutely. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll get your story up along with the podcast. Thanks for giving us an update on it, and go get your news.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate
All right.
it.
Thank you,
Take
Mr.
care.
Siegel. Stay with us. The Joe Miller Show. Dr. William Briggs next.